Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do some mold making. I have some little trinkets here that I bought that I want to try to mold just to see, how, just to get a feel for it. I've got my scales out. Silicone is different than epoxy. Silicone is by weight, not by volume. Um, and so that's why I've got the scales out. Now, also, I will tell you that with silicone is a little different than epoxy because you're going to pour your A side first into your cup, and you will clear out your scale, and then you will pour your B. So how much ever A that you pour in is how much B you're going to also pour in. And then the turtle and the porcupine here is what we're going to mold. I've also got the flowers over there too that I'm going to mold. I thought I had the footage of that. I don't know what happened to some of my footage. Somehow it got lost. So I kind of had to, you know, make the video work because there was quite a bit of it missing, but you'll see it works out in the end. So here I'm just turning on the scale, and I put the cup on there. I'm going to tear it out, which tear means you're going to zero it out to zeros. So what you will do is you're gonna turn your scales on. Do not set your cup down. Make sure it's on zero. Set your cup on top of it, and then you're gonna see numbers that come across your scales. You're gonna hit the start button or whatever, however you tear it out. It says tears, T-A-R-E. You're gonna tear it out to where it shows zeros. Then you pour your silicone because you want your scales to be cleared. So here I'm doing like 5 ounces, I believe is what I'm going to do. Maybe 4.8. I thought I was doing like 5. I think I am doing 5 ounces on here. When you get close to your number, you kind of want to go slow because the weight of it will fluctuate a little bit. So you definitely want to, kind of pour slow when you get closer to the end. Because I'm already at 4.9 and I just need just a little dab for 5. There it is right there. Perfect. Now, you're always going to, like I said, you're always going to pour your A first when you're doing silicone. Now, here, I will tear it out to where it shows zeros. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the A. I will do 5 ounces of B. So I'm going to pour 5 ounces into that cup. So it's a total of 10 ounces that I will have total when I'm done. Now, silicone, you are it degasses, relatively well on its own. It's not it wasn't as hard as what I really thought it was going to be to make a mold. Um in fact, I've made several since then. It's just the other one didn't turn out, so I didn't worry about filming. I mean, I filmed it, but I didn't worry about editing it or anything because the other video just didn't turn out. It's the part with that is the trimming. Okay, the trimming is what is the booger, but I did do some research on it, and I think I found some better stuff to trim with, and I kind of learned my lesson the on these pours when I poured these molds. I think I kind of made them a little bit too thick as well. So I've been kind of watching some videos after this, so, and I was watching other people make molds and how they do it, and I think I did pour mine just a little bit too thick. So you want to be, kind of cautious of that, just you want to just go over the top. You don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin, you know. Um, and I should have, and maybe if I would have had, my turtle and stuff, if it would have been turned up the other way, it may not have been so thick on the top, the top section. Um, but they wouldn't have laid correctly. I don't think I would have been able to get them to lay properly. And here I'm just, mixing up my silicone. You want to mix the silicone really slow. You do want to mix with a metal stir stick, a wooden stir stick. Don't mix with the silicone stick or anything that's made of silicone, because silicone will stick to silicone. So therefore whatever it touches, it's going to stick to it. You won't get it off. And I believe you're supposed to mix for like 5 minutes, I think is what the instructions said. Now this silicone here is a 15A, and this is by Bondcrafter. And I really do like this silicone. Um, they've got they've got um, a lower grade, which is like a 0A or whatever. They have that, and I want to try it, because I mean I really do like their 15A. Now there's degassed, no problem. I mean, I didn't have any problems with the degassing. I didn't have to put this in my vacuum chamber, nothing. So I didn't have any problems with this silicone whatsoever. And here I'm just still kind of mixing real slow. Um, and these molds will potentially, you know, they are going to be up for sale. Not these ones that I've done here, but I will be making molds of these to sell, if anyone's interested. So just shoot me an email and let me know, and we'll figure out how to do it, since I don't have a shop quite yet. But I think I mixed it for like 5 minutes. Um, but I didn't hardly get any bubbles in it at all. I mean, it was some really good silicone. I really did like it. Um, and I've tried, another brand, and I didn't have any problem with it either. It was good silicone too. So, um, and here I'm still stirring. Now I do, um, because I forgot here to add my colorant on this when I started pouring this. So I had to go in and add my colorant, because I did want my molds, with a little bit of color, not too crazy. I added a little bit too much colorant, but I thought that I added the least amount as possible, but apparently I didn't. Apparently I added more than what I should have. So, and here I'm just sitting here and going to let it sit here in the cup, and it's just going to degas for a little bit to get those bubbles. You can see those bubbles on the very top, how they're popping themselves. Just let it sit there for a few minutes and just let it degas. And those bubbles will come to the surface and they will pop on their own. Now, another thing when you are doing, pouring your silicone, and here I've just got my scribe, and I'm just going in and popping the bubbles that are on top. But what I was saying was, with silicone, when you pour silicone, you want to pour in one spot, and I would say pour slowly, because the slower you pour, the less bubbles you're going to have. And I hope y'all didn't hear that boat that just went by. If you did, I apologize. It is a Sunday and it's loud as all get out here. So everybody seems like everybody's on the lake today. I don't know if they're having a fishing tournament or something, but yeah. That and my squeaky chair. I swear I'm going to have to buy some WD-40, guys. I'm telling you. But every time I put an order in or something like that to anywhere, I forget the WD-40. But these squeaky chairs are getting on my nerves. And here I'm just kind of wiping my hands off, but I'm I know I'm getting ready to pour it. And there I'm messing with the camera, and I think that's where my camera somehow got off. Um, yeah, I don't know. I do have to refix my camera, but um, now I will tell you one thing about the 15A versus the 0A. Okay, 15A is a little bit harder of a silicone, as to where 0A is a very flexible, and I mean flexible silicone, very easy to, you know, and 0A, from what I understand, is for things that have very intricate detail. That way you can get it, but it's a very soft, flexible silicone. Now, if I'm not mistaken, somebody carries a 10A, and I don't know if it's Let's Resin or Bondcrafter, but I do want to try the 10A too. I like the 15A. I just don't like how stiff it is. You know, I want something just a little bit, not quite as stiff as the 15A, but not as flexible as the 0A, because I don't like with these, like with the turtle and the porcupine. Whew, excuse me. Sorry, guys. But like with the porcupine, I didn't need anything really stiff, So I really do want to try the 10A. So here I'm just fixing to start pouring. Okay, so we're gonna pour it right here. And like I said, you want to pour in one spot. You don't want to pour, you know, everywhere, because you want to try to keep out as many bubbles as you can. So just kind of pour, slowly, and pour in one spot. Um, and once it starts filling up, then you can start, which I didn't do that, but luckily, though, with this Bondcrafter, I really didn't get any bubbles. But then I also watched it. So if you keep an eye on it, you're going to be able to eliminate the bubbles as they come up. And like I said, I forgot to put my colorant in it. So, yeah, I didn't want it to be clear. It's supposed to have a color, and I totally forgot all about doing a color in it. But I do, here in a minute, add the color to it. And why I'm pouring it over that turtle, I have no idea, because I knew I wasn't supposed to do that. But this was my first time too, so I'm learning what to do and what not to do. Yeah, so here I added the color to it, and then I'll mix it around in the bowl. And I should have had, probably smaller bowls and just put one of the little characters in each, little container by themselves. And I think it wouldn't have come out as deep as it did. But I did, however, buy, because like I said, I was doing some research, and I know a lot of us use cuticle trimmers, but these little El Cheapo cuticle trimmers that you get, they're not worth a flip. They don't work. I mean, they're junk. So I actually bought some scalpels. And the ones that I purchased were, I believe they had all different size blades in them. Because you will see here in a little bit that, my cuts were not straight, because of course I didn't have the right tools. So I can tell you the right tools for the job is you're going to want the right stuff for the job, or it's, yeah. So just make sure that you have all the right stuff that you need before you start making molds. Now, however, whether these scalpels work or not, I don't know. I do know, on the research that I did, it said that people, that's, what they use is scalpels. Um, and they also said that you could use some kind of, I forget what it was, something about silicone or something, but that was mainly for like commercial use. I forget what the name of it was, but I looked it up. I couldn't find any. And what you could find was very, very expensive. I'll have to look up the name of it again and see what exactly it was I'm referring to. But I still am using the little cheap cuticle trimmers because I haven't really found a good cuticle trimmer yet. Um, I seen one on somebody's video the other day that they were using, and it looked like a real good one. It might have been Tammy from Epoxy Me That. Hi Tammy. So if it was her, then I'll probably order, because when they were using it, I mean, it cut like butter. So I'll find that video that I seen and get it out of their description box. Because yeah, the even on the cuticle trimmer, the teeth on it are further apart than what you get on them little cheap plastic handled ones or whatever. Yeah, them things are, yeah. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. I bought a whole big old bag of them things, but they're not worth the money you spend on them. So I would say don't buy them. If you're gonna make molds, invest in good tools. Just from experience, invest in good tools. And here I'm just cleaning off my stick and cleaning out my cup, um, because I'm done pouring this. But you see how thick it came, even though, I mean, I'm like kind of like right up over the top. So this is the top, which will now, when I demold it, will become the bottom. Which, yeah, it shouldn't have been that way. It should have been opposite. It should have been, the bottom should have been up. So, but this is my very first mold, so I've never done it, and you got to start somewhere, and that's how you learn. So that's what I did, and I know for next time not to do it that way. And a shallower, smaller dish too would be helpful. So, and after this, I'll just throw that cup away. I'm not going to keep that cup, um, because I don't know if you can even clean them, um, to be able to keep them. I'm not sure, but if anybody knows that answer, let me know. Because, okay, so here we've already got the demold done and all that, because like I said, I lost some of that footage. Sorry guys, don't know what happened to it. I started editing the video and I'm like, what in the world happened to my video? So yeah, I don't know what happened to it. But so here is the porcupine. And then I've got bronze and dried leaf. Um, so I'd already picked out my colors, and that's juniper, and that's going to be for the turtle. Now for the flowers, for the little roses, and those are going to be for like the little character molds that we all do, you know, that we put the bows and the little flowers or whatever on it, whatever. I'm probably going to be selling the little flowers. Um, just because, you know, you got to wait weeks and weeks and weeks for it to come in if you buy them on Temu. You know, if you're lucky, you might get them on Amazon and get them the next day, but they're kind of expensive. So, you know, so I got the flowers, and I also have the butterflies that I'm probably going to make. And I'm probably going to sell those as well. So, and here I'm just mixing up resin, and I think I mixed up 6 ounces of resin here for both of these guys, or I might have mixed up 5. It was either 5 or 6 ounces, and I definitely mixed up too much. I can tell you that, because I had a lot of extras left, which was fine because I mean I made stuff out of it, and I didn't show it on here because, you know, those are just for extras to go in bags or whatever, you know, orders when I send out orders. So, and y'all had already seen me do that anyway, so you didn't really need to see it again. So I'm just separating the resin because I didn't want to do it all green, and then, you know, I have too much, and then, you know, because I still need some for the flowers and the porcupine. Now, I will say the porcupine though, and I didn't know this until after the fact, but the porcupine was, his ear was broke. So yeah, I had to get another one. But the also when I poured that, and he may do better with a softer silicone, because when I poured this one with the 15A, in the bottom of it, you can see some of the crystally uh, effects, you know, between the porcupine, kind of the trim part came out, and I don't think it was supposed to. So that's why I was pouring it to see if that really even made a difference, if we needed to, if I need to just cut all that trim part out, or if that's what made the crystally effect or what. Um so, and I still couldn't tell because of the way I colored it, so I couldn't really tell. But and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit, but here I'm just mixing up my color for the green. And like I said, that green is juniper, and it is also, that is, I believe, Baltic Day mica powders. I'll have it linked in the description box so y'all can. I got it on Amazon. I know when I started, I bought two boxes. I bought one was Baltic Day, and I forget what the other brand was, and they had a lot of bags in there. So I just, you know, kind of bagged them up and or bottled them up, and then used a little bit of resin to make pigment. And there I was just spraying my mold with some 99% alcohol to help with any bubbles. Now, I will say you do not want to spray your molds, handmade molds, with alcohol. Do not use alcohol in your handmade molds. I did because it's mine and I can make another one. Not a big deal. I have the master. So I figured I didn't want any bubbles, so I'll take the chance of ruining the mold. It's not that big of a deal to me. I'd rather not have bubbles. And he did turn out really cute. And I didn't, you know, I didn't decorate them. I didn't do anything with them because, I mean, I just wanted to see, you know, how well they came out. Now, I will tell you too, when you do silicone and you pour silicone mold, after you demold it, you have to wait 24 to 48 hours. 24 is what they recommend. I let mine sit for 48 hours before I pour it in it. So the longer you wait, the better. So I just let mine sit for 2 days after, I demolded. But you can wait and do 24 hours, and then you're ready to cast in it. So here you can see my extras, that I had a lot of extra green left. So I just made some extra little hearts for some pocket hugs, is what I made those for. And then the purple here that I had left over, the little bit of purple, I'm going to make some flowers out of it. And then, of course, I had so much because that little flower mold doesn't hold a lot. So I poured some flowers and some hearts. And then I think I've done a few other things. I think I made the peacock and all that. But like I said, y'all have already seen me do all that. This was just extra stuff I wasn't intending on in this video. I was just really more concerned about, showing you the mold and showing you that it worked. So the extras, I wasn't concerned about the extras. And here I'm just filling up the mold. I don't know what it is. I get on here and I get to yawning. It's crazy. Any other time I'm not doing it. Just when I get on here to start filming or doing a voiceover or something like that, and then I start yawning like crazy. Go figure. And then that's that bronze color that I was telling you about. And here I'm just going in and poking. In that flower mold, you'll have to go in and take you a little dotting tool or something and go down in there, because it does have a lot of detail in those little roses. So you want to do that so you can get out all the bubbles out of there, and that way you don't get bubbles in your flowers and stuff. Same thing with that little butterfly. If you have that mold, you want to do the same thing to it, because that little butterfly, I believe, has flowers in it, the bottom of it. So you're going to want to do that too. I just take mine and pull it apart, and squish it around so it gets in all the little crevices and everything it needs to get into, so it doesn't create bubbles in the flowers. So, and then those little pink roses there that's on the pink mold, they they usually turn out pretty good. I've casted in them quite a bit and they turn out pretty good. Now those little roses with the mold that I made, more than likely I will probably do that maybe in a softer silicone, because of them having such intricate detail in them, that they probably need to be done in a softer silicone, and maybe that'll produce less bubbles. Because when you get a bubble in a flower petal, it's, and then you got to fix it, and yeah. So I'll probably try to do that in a softer silicone and see if it doesn't do a lot better than what it did, because they didn't turn out very good at all. Now the bigger ones did, but the little bitty ones, they did not. Even after me poking around and doing all that I did, it still didn't. Um, and then when you get done, just, spritz your molds with some 99% alcohol to pop all your bubbles, and set everything to the side and just let it cure for, depending on which resin you use. If you used fast set, or if you used 24 hour or whatever. If you use regular set, you got to let it sit for 24 hours. And it continues to cure even after that 24 hours. So it can cure for up to 7 days. Some of them even, they keep curing up to a month. But after 24 hours though, it's good to demold. It's not going to bend. Now, if they're real thin pieces, though, they will still bend. They're still bendable. Even though it's cured, they're still bendable. So just kind of keep that in mind. And I did not get around to pouring in the porcupine. So I did do the porcupine in a different video, and it'll be coming up. So just keep an eye out on that one. But it did turn out really cute. And this is the little peacock. Now on this little peacock, if the little holes that is in the bottom, if you see the little holes, if you will fill those holes up first before you pour your resin in there, like I'm doing with the dotting tool, you eliminate your bubbles. So definitely do that first, and then you can pour your resin, and then you're not getting the bubbles in there that you would normally get. So, and after this video, make sure to stick around, because I do have the photos at the end of the video, so that way you can see how the turtle and stuff came out. And like I said, the porcupine will be in a different video. I didn't get time to, because this video was long, so I had to cut it down a little bit. But I just lost my train of thought. I'm just like, duh. Okay, so here I'm pouring this is a into resin mold, and this is a little water ripple pendant. Yeah, I was sitting there like, okay, I lost my train of thought for a second. But yeah, anyway, so like I said, the porcupine mold will be coming up in a different video, and I'm sorry that I ran out of time and didn't get to pour it, but the turtle turned out really, really cute. But I was not expecting all these extras, so that's kind of why I ran out of time. But you will get to see the porcupine though, and it turned out really cute. And I am going to recast these again, now that I've got some better tools. I will remold them and make new molds. And with the porcupine and the flowers, I'll probably use a softer silicone.
Party
So
started.
stay tuned for that video. So now it's time to demold.
There's the little butterfly.
And that's the butterfly
always
that has all the flowers in it.
Magnets.
And then
oh, those are
roses
cute.
that
Those are
generally
cute.
they come out, those usually come out pretty good. Sometimes they have a little bubble in them, but
those turned out really good. Well,
not everything
this one, I don't
comes
know.
out 100%
I think
every time. Unfortunately, I wished it did, but it doesn't.
Here's the new flowers that I just bought.
Now these little flowers here, they turned out really cute. I think those are called peonies.
Maybe too close to the camera. I don't know. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see.
And I don't think I show you, but I do have,
because usually I'm way over here, and I've been noticing I'm off camera.
The end for the photos,
so I want to be on camera.
They turned out really, really cute after I got it all finished.
And I'll probably just go over the high points of these little flowers.
And there's 3 of those flowers,
and either make it a keychain or a magnet. Not sure yet.
And then this is the into resin mold. This is the bubble. So you can't really see it that good. Because
I use J-Diction, and I'm really trying to get rid of it, because I doubt very seriously that I will,
unless you do it with like
that again. Now I can say that their
iridescent or
their UV resin. Their UV resin is really good. I've not
dichroic film
personally
myself,
like that, and I don't.
And
it could
and
be the climate. It could be, I don't know.
Going to get that effect,
but I've never really had much luck with
J-Diction
that
using
ripple
effect. You have to do
resin.
it the proper way, or you're not going to see the water
There's the little
as good as you would
water ripple
if
from
you had done it the correct way.
This is the heart,
and then this is the heart pendant. that I've done
and you really
before.
can't
I've done
see
these
the
many
effect
times,
of
so
this
I mean, this is
unless you
not anything y'all haven't already
use
seen
some
before.
other
But
form of. Turned
like I
out
said,
super
these were
good.
extras because I had mixed up so much resin.
Good.
And then those are the little
I'm really happy
flowers
with this
that I
little
was
mold.
telling y'all that
Now that one
I
came out
had, and I
as well
was
with
molding
a little
them.
bubble,
So,
but that, like
but
I
I
said,
think
that
I'm
could
gonna
have
make
been
them in a
for
softer
me
silicone
not,
next time.
you know, not poking it down in
But
there
yeah,
good enough or something like that.
because
Now these
I mean, they
hearts
turned out good
here,
though. I mean, I
um,
wished I would have had. I don't know what
I'm
happened to my footage.
probably
I wished I would have had that
I'm probably
footage
gonna make pocket
of
hugs
me
out of them because
demolding
I
that,
think they're the
or
perfect size.
unmolding
But yeah, I'll
the
probably make
mold
pocket
that I
hugs out
made.
of those.
But yeah,
This right
I don't know
here,
what happened to it.
this is my
And then
peacock,
this is the little peacock, and I'll make a brooch out of this,
and
like I normally do, because I
oh
just love this
wow,
little peacock.
look at
It is
that
just
shine!
so stinking cute,
Oh, I love
and it turned
it.
out really cute
And then
too.
this will either be,
Now
I
for
don't
the
know,
grand finale, which is
a
the turtle.
magnet or a brooch, not really
Sorry
sure.
about that cord hanging
And
down. That's
now, for the
my cord that
moment
I have to use to
that I
charge my
have been
phone. My
waiting
phone goes
for
dead sometimes, so I
is
have
to
to use
see
that.
how
And believe it or not, this
my
even
little
had like a
turtle
crystally sound to it
came
when I
out.
demolded, even though it's not a
And you see
crystal
how
yet,
easy he is to
but
pop out?
it did.
You just grab
And
him
it was real easy to
and
demold.
wiggle.
Had
Boom.
no problems demolding
So,
it. But look
oh
how
wow.
shiny, guys. Can y'all say shine? Yes. That mold is
Amazing.
definitely
Got a
shiny.
little bit of trimming,
Not a bubble,
but
not
that's it.
nothing. I
Um,
am so
I'm going to
happy.
trim this just a little bit,
The mold had no
and
bubbles in it
hopefully I can do it
whatsoever. I had very
without.
little trimming to do, but I did have a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, his little feet are different, so
But yeah, I didn't,
I'm
like I
just
said, I didn't
gonna
do anything to this. I was just
I'm
basically
gonna hold off on his
wanting
little
to see
toes
how
and
the
his feet,
mold turned out.
which that's
And
quite
I
a
was
bit of
very pleased.
overage
The
too.
mold turned
So
out
that's
wonderful. So, if you haven't
because
already, please
I'm just gonna let it cure a little bit
like,
longer
share, and
before I
subscribe.
try to
That really
trim up his
does
feet.
mean a lot to me. It helps me. If you
But yeah,
subscribe,
he
it helps
turned out.
me, to get
Let me
monetized
try
a
my
little
knife
faster.
here.
It doesn't cost you
I don't
anything,
like those
but
deburring tools
it
that
just
much
helps my channel
anyway.
and helps me grow,
I just
and it helps me to be able to put more content out for you guys. Um, and it also, helps me to be
and I may just
noticed
wait and just take my little
more.
sander because I really don't
So
have that
the
much
side of it with TikTok, the
left
algorithm,
on here to
it
trim.
pushes it closer to the front with,
And
the
see, I just
bigger type
and it's really
videos
not
and all
messed up
that.
because
So
you
if you
you gotta
haven't,
trim it.
please
I
subscribe.
just don't like
I was looking at my
seeing
subscriber
all
analytics,
those
and
lines like that.
I have a lot of viewers that are watching it, but believe it or not, there is
But I mean, I know you
a
have to
handful of
trim.
people. And another thing I will tell you, if y'all could, please make sure you're watching the video all the way through.
But yeah, I am loving how he
is
came
only
out.
there is only literally
He came out
13%
super good.
that's watching the
Be safe.
video, and it's only going to
Bye.
13. So I really would appreciate it if you guys would watch the video all the way through and not just 13 minutes of it, because that doesn't do anything. That hurts me more by doing just 13 minutes than it does watching the whole video. So with that being said, you guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.